It has become known which club earned the most money last season. You will definitely be surprised. Vile Real Madrid, what will happen next? Confirmed, Ancelotti will coach the Brazil national team. Incredible Chelsea transfer. All of this and more in today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome to our roundup of the top football news. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. If you've already subscribed, let's get started. Calcio e Finanza analyzed the financial activities of clubs in the top 5 European leagues. The total revenue of the clubs amounted to over 25 billion euros, of which 9 billion was earned by the Premier League, confirming its dominance. The main sources of income were television contracts, 9.3 billion euros, commercial income, 6.5 billion, transfer activity, plus 25% growth compared to 2022/23. Despite high revenues, club expenses exceeded profits, amounting to 25.3 billion euros. The main expenditure items remain payments to agents, 7.6 billion euros, a plus 17% increase. Aggregate losses decreased from 1.2 billion euros in 2022-23 to 795 million euros, indicating some financial stabilization. The Premier League was the most profitable league with a turnover of 8.8 billion euros. Serie A showed the largest losses, minus 370 million euros. Only Real Madrid and Manchester City were in the list of clubs with a turnover of over 1 billion euros. Juventus, on the other hand, finished the season with the largest losses, minus 200 million euros. Finally, somewhat unexpectedly, last season, Chelsea closed with the best balance, with a large gap from second-placed Manchester City. 3 more English clubs, as well as Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, had a budget surplus. France is represented by Lille, and from Italy, Napoli and Lazio are in the top 10. Tell me, how can one compete with the Premier League clubs? Barcelona won against Real Madrid in a wonderful match in the Spanish Cup final, with a score of 3-2. Congratulations to the Catalans, but I want to talk to you about something else, namely how Real Madrid has turned into some kind of disgusting, uncontrolled, constantly offended, and always angry entity that cannot accept reality when something goes against its scenario. I understand there are emotions, everyone has them, but here it is already a trend. In my opinion, it all started with the Ballon d'Or ceremony when the entire Real Madrid boycotted the award ceremony because Vinicius was not recognized as the best. Here, before the final, the Madrid team cancelled the open training session, press conference, and club dinner, which looks like a demonstrative gesture of offense. This is not just disrespect for the fans who expected to see their idols, but also for the tournament organizers. And the attempt to replace the final referees is already outright pressure on the refereeing corps. Such actions undermine confidence in the fairness of competitions and create an atmosphere of toxicity. Instead of admitting their mistakes, Real Madrid continues to blame everyone around. La Liga president Javier Tebas is absolutely right in his criticism of Florentino Perez. Constant attempts at pressure, manipulation, and creating conflicts are not what is expected from a club of this level. Instead of working to improve football, Real Madrid is trying to create its own rules of the game, and the behavior of Real Madrid players at the end of the final is simply the culmination of everything. Antonio Rudiger, who threw a piece of ice at the referee, is not just a shameful act. It is outright aggression that has no place in football. According to Cadena Ser, the German defender risks receiving a suspension of up to 12 matches, which would be a completely fair decision. And what do you think? Will the Real Madrid management punish Rudiger for such behavior? This question is more rhetorical, which actually indicates the disgusting policy of the club, namely Florentino Perez. Football is a game that unites, not divides, and Real Madrid should remember this. And to finally end the Real Madrid topic, according to Fabrizio Romano, Carlo Ancelotti's future is practically decided. The Brazilian Football Confederation is confident that they will soon announce the Italian specialist as the new head coach. He will lead the national team before the start of the Club World Cup, that is, already in May. The federation's emissaries remain in Spain and are coordinating all the details with Carlo and Real Madrid. I think Ancelotti will be a great coach for the Brazilian national team. English club Chelsea intends to strengthen the winger position during the summer transfer window. The London club is interested in the services of Borussia Dortmund player Jamie Bynoe-Gittens. The management of the German team will not hinder the transfer of the 20-year-old Englishman, but expects an adequate offer. The Blues are ready to offer 50 to 60 million euros. Preliminary negotiations have taken place between the clubs. In addition, Chelsea intends to double Jamie's salary. They offered 7 million euros, although he currently receives 3. The winger has agreed to move to the English Premier League and is waiting for the clubs to settle all issues regarding the future transfer. The London club believes that Bynoe-Gittens will be an ideal replacement for Ukrainian Mykhailo Mudryk, who has been suspended from football due to doping allegations. Jonathan Tah, the German defender, indeed has a verbal agreement with Barcelona for a transfer in the summer. However, due to the club's financial difficulties and the need to comply with financial fair play rules, the deal has not yet been finalized. If the transfer to Barcelona does not happen, Real Madrid could become a strong contender for Tah's signature, especially if Xabi Alonso, Tah's current coach at Bayer Leverkusen, takes over Real Madrid. The defender and the coach have a good professional relationship, which could influence Jonathan's choice. In addition, Bayern Munich also remains in the game, having long been interested in the player. Tah's future promises to be one of the most interesting stories of the transfer summer. Where do you think he will end up? The terms of Dean Huijsen's buyout clause, which amounts to £50 million, have attracted additional attention, as the contract stipulates that the sum can be paid in 3 installments, not all at once. This flexibility makes the transfer more attractive to many clubs. This information has been provided to all interested parties. Thanks to this payment structure, the transfer becomes more affordable and could potentially cause a tense battle between contenders for the young defender. Currently, several clubs are leading the transfer race for Dean Huijsen. Real Madrid is actively progressing in negotiations, and club president Florentino Perez has expressed great interest in the young defender. Chelsea is also ready to outbid any offer from Real Madrid, demonstrating serious intentions to sign the player. In addition, Liverpool remains in the game, considering Huijsen as a potential replacement for Virgil van Dijk. All these clubs have strong arguments, but the final decision will depend on the player himself and the conditions offered to him. Although I think Chelsea has the best chance of getting Huijsen. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. Keep watching for more football action and have a wonderful day.